generally be where we start from.
Absolutely, thank you.
Steve Darling.
Thank you. And I wouldn't want you to be disappointed, Minister, with a trip to day out, with a morning out with us without covering WASPI women.
Okay.
And I just reflect on that the Minister agreed with the Ombudsman around maladministration, admittedly, and then didn't agree as far as a way forward as far as compensation is concerned. The concern that I've got is that the report was to Parliament, and I'd welcome some reflection on that. So when is Parliament going to have its say? I'm aware that this is subject to the courts now, so there may be limited of what you're able to talk around this, but also the principle I'd welcome your reflections on from that bigger picture of doesn't this undermine the role of the Ombudsman when there's a pick and mix approach around the findings of the Ombudsman?
Okay, so I'll try. The chair doesn't tell me off too much. I'll try to give quick answers to those. So there is an ongoing judicial review now, so I'm not going to go into lots of detail because that's now a matter for the courts. All I would say on that is you can obviously, the government's position has been set out in the Secretary of State's formal response that has been placed in the House of Commons Library. I know it's been shared with this committee several times, so and that sets out our reasoning and argumentation. We've also allowed the litigants in the case of the judicial review to publish our full argument and response, so that is also available in public so that the committee and others can see it, so it's very clear what we're setting out. But I'm not going to go into more detail than that because that's where we set out our response. In terms of to Parliament, obviously the Secretary of State came to Parliament, set out her case. People have disagreed with that in the Chamber and in Westminster Hall. You and I have discussed that on several occasions. It's obviously for all political parties to use the time that they have under their control in the Chamber as they wish, and and we're there as ministers to be held to account by whatever individual parties decide they wish to do in terms of using that. On the principle, on the Ombudsman, I basically think we all value the work of the Ombudsman. We've been very clear. We took their report in this case very seriously. We've obviously, as you say, come to a different view on injustice and remedy for the reasons set out in the formal response. It is unusual, but it is certainly not unprecedented for the government not to agree with the remedies proposed by the Ombudsman, and I would say it's going to stay unusual but not unprecedented. There's been lots of, since the decision of WASPI, there's been lots of other cases where Ombudsman decisions have been implemented by my department and other departments all across Whitehall. So some of the over-the-top claims that this somehow undermines the entire value of the Ombudsman, I don't think we should be saying that. I don't think it's true. I think saying that is damaging to the Ombudsman's role. It's just clearly not true because government is right across the board. There's a pension Ombudsman. We are working with them all the time. There's the Ombudsman which is holding government to account, like the one we are talking about, where we do implement their decisions all the time. We've set out why we've come to a different view on this very clearly. I think we should focus on, if people don't agree with us, it should be on those grounds. It shouldn't be on this somehow fatally undermines the Ombudsman. I just reject that entirely.
Thank you.
Thank you.